that up. All right.
3, 2.
Hi. So this is a wonderful model, and we are going to be talking about watersheds and pollution. So the first thing I want us all to think about is, what is a watershed? And so the main definition is, it is an area of land, the entire area, and when rain falls or water travels, it is the area in which the water will flow to a body of water. So in this model, all of the waters, we've got a couple rivers, we've got a big lake, everything is going to flow into this lake down here. So this is our watershed. And what we're going to be exploring in our fancy little watershed is pollution. Now we have two types of pollution, point and non-point. And the names really describe how we can or cannot determine the source of that pollution. So point solution is where you can literally point to the exact source. Non-point solution pollution is pollution that kind of comes from an area, and we're going to explore the differences. So the first thing, let's take a tour of our quaint little town here. So way up in the corner, we have our factory. All right, we've got some roads, we've got some bridges, we have two wonderful little streams. Down here, we have our farmer. Up here, we have our little neighborhood. Here we have a sewage treatment plant, and then we've got kind of a small road and then a highway. And oh, we can't forget our little nature preserve, our mountain and our parks. We've got lots of trees and all of that great stuff. So now we're going to add some pollution, and these are the different kinds of pollutions that we will see in our own communities. So the first thing, I'm going to put just a little bit of garbage. So litter, things, perhaps you were driving down the road and you had your windows down and some napkins or some receipts fell out and now they're on the side of the road. Now obviously no one would purposely litter, but occasionally we do have folks who just don't care, and so maybe we were at the beach and we left our pop cans laying around, or maybe we were hiking in the park and we left our lunch sack up there. So we've got a little bit of garbage. Maybe it was a windy day and the trash can blew over before the garbage man came to pick it up, and now it's all blowing down the street. And okay, we got a factory, so maybe our factory littered and somebody was out on lunch and they left their garbage out there. All right, so we've got a little bit of litter, and that is just part of the pollution that we have. Okay, let's see, what else do we got? Let's throw some dirt around. Like, all right, so up here we've got some construction. We've cleared the trees, we've taken off the grass, and we're gonna add another wonderful little house in our community. So we'll put some dirt there. And well, we've got some dirt in the park just because that's what we do. Now, over here we've got a farmer, and we're gonna say that this is a naughty farmer. This farmer does not use the best agricultural practices. So there's no crop cover and the fields are bare, and so there's just going to be a lot of dirt there. We got dirt everywhere. Let's see, I think this is our golf course. We'll put some more dirt up there. We got dirt over there. All right, so we've got just soil, dirt, things like that. All right. Now in our little neighborhood, all of our people, they want beautiful green grass, and so one thing they're going to do is we're going to add some fertilizer to our lawns to get that wonderful green grass. All right, maybe even put a little bit in the park, you know, if we're swinging, we want nice pretty grass. Our farmer over here, he doesn't take super great care of his soil, so not only is it blowing away, but we got to add fertilizer to get our plants to grow. And perhaps this gentleman isn't even worried, so he's just going to put however much he feels like it. And we'll put some by the factory because they want their employees to feel pretty when it comes in. All right, so there we've got some fertilizer. Now, another chemical that's very, very common are things like pesticides and herbicides. So a pesticide is a chemical that's used to kill bugs, and herbicides are chemicals that are used to kill plants. So our farmer doesn't want any bugs or weeds growing in his field, so he's going to put a little bit of there. We're going to put some herbicide over here. He's got a garden. We don't want any of that weird stuff growing. And we'll put some over here. All right, we're going to put herbicide in our new construction because we don't want weeds coming up. All right, now you'll see I've got a cute little doggy over here. And pets, especially when we take them for a walk, pets go poop outside. And if you are a nice neighbor, you'll clean up your dog poop. But a lot of times people don't. So we got some dog poop, maybe some up in the park here, people walking their pets. And we got lots of different colors. So there's dog poop, cat poop, bird poop, maybe even a pet lizard, who knows. All right, we've also got some farm animals over here, and these guys are just hanging out outside, pooping to their heart's content. Let's see, what else do we got? All right, so we've also, in the winter, we often sprinkle salt on our roads and our sidewalks to keep them safe, and that's important. You know, we don't want to have a crash on the way to work. So we got some salt on our roads. Let's see, what else? Ah, yes. Now, obviously we don't want to drive icky cars, but a lot of cars leak. So this super rad Trans Am running too hard, it's got a little oil leak in the driveway. And you know, as cars travel, they drop exhaust, they leak oil, things like that. All right, here we got a parking lot. So if you've ever looked at a parking lot, you can usually tell where the cars sit because there's a nice juicy oil spot. All right, our naughty farmer's tractor is very bad. All right, maybe even we'll put a little bit there. Okay, so that's oil and coolant and all that sort of stuff. All right, that was very, very, very pigmented. All right. Now finally, we've got our factory. And our factory does all kinds of stuff. It's making all kinds of products, and those products have byproducts. And so hopefully our factory is mindful about what they have and where they put it. But just in case, we're going to show what happens. So this factory, let's just say they didn't renew their permit or they're breaking their permit. And as they create their stuff, we'll notice there's a little dribble coming out there. So this is factory pollution. This is an example of what we call point pollution, because we can see the exact point that pollution comes out. Now the rest of this wonderful stuff is non-point pollution. So we're gonna have a little rain event, and we're gonna watch all of this pollution and watch where it goes, all right? Whoops, that's more rain-like, yeah? All right, so some stuff is gonna be more obvious than others, but we'll see where things start to end up. And my garbage is kind of just sticking to the plate. But we can see our oil starting to run off. We can see up here our fertilizers changing color, running down. We haven't even gotten to our farm yet. So our pepper, this extra dirt is floating. We can see the trash and the poop flowing down. We can see here, this little outlet point. This is where all the stuff coming off the streets is coming out right there. Okay. Now, the rainstorm is gonna hit our farm, and oh dear, we have a manure pond, and our manure pond was not maintained, and so that's overflowing. Now we can see where the water is almost looking like chocolate milk. Now our lake is looking pretty awful. And there's only one easy spot, there's only one easy place to blame, right? And that's our factory. The rest of our pollution is coming from all over the different places in our watershed. And that's what's called non-point solution or pollution. The pollution is not coming from one single point. It's kind of coming from all over the place. And so that's the most difficult to track down. It can be the most difficult to fix because non-point pollution really it comes from us, from everyday people doing everyday things. And so there's little ways that we can help. And obviously, so one would be, let's not put our trash where it'll flow into our water. We can be careful about if we use chemicals on our yard. Perhaps there's a way to get away with not using fertilizer. We can make sure we pick up our pets' poop whenever we're out and about. When we have new construction, you might even notice this. Sometimes when we're building brand new stuff, we'll put up little fences or hay bales that kind of look like they're wrapped in stuff, and that can help stop the flow. Are there any questions about point or non-point or watersheds?
So it seemed like there was a lot of different stuff on the farm, but farms wouldn't count as like a point thing.
Well, it depends. So if our farm and it was just the manure pit that leaked, we would probably consider that point source pollution. But things like runoff or erosion, things like that is really considered non-point.
So and then things like you talked about, like manure and dog poop and stuff like that. Why is that harmful for the rivers?
There's a
and the
few
lakes?
reasons why that stuff is not good, and a lot of it comes down to nutrients and bacteria. So you may even know this, that when we use fertilizer, a lot of times it is old manure or manure from farm animals, and that's because there's a lot of nutrients in there. The nutrients are necessary for plants to grow, and so if excess animal waste gets into our water, it can lead to harmful algal blooms. So if you've ever gone to the lake in like late summer and you notice the green water, maybe it's not very clear, sometimes it'll even have a little bit of a smell to it. Those kinds of blooms can be made much, 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 much worse when you add excessive nutrients into the water. They can get so bad that when the algae dies, it'll take away all the oxygen in the water and then no other animals survive. And that's what can be called like a fish kill or a die-off. So what it really comes down to is excessive nutrients. Nutrients are important for aquatic life, but if you get too much of it, kind of like anything, if you get too much of something, it can become a problem. And it's not just animal waste, it can be fertilizer from our gardens, fertilizer from farmland, things like that. All right.
Want to talk about our open hours?
So we are open Sunday, 1 to 5, and then we are open Monday, Friday, and Saturday, 9:30 to 5:30, 1 to 5:30. And let's see, E-Cubed is coming up. I believe the last day to get your cube is this Wednesday, so tomorrow. So I highly recommend you get in on that. Tomorrow is the last day, so you can just go to our website, hscbemidji.org, and there's a link for you to click. You can purchase it online, pick it up here, easy peasy.
Thanks for watching.